All right, we're recording live in the Basement of Champions with Matthew Allen Kruger. Haven't seen him in a long time. You've been busy with your baseball stuff.
Have been. But excited to be here, though.
Yeah, no, happy to have you. And what's today? Tuesday. It's a Tuesday night.
I think it's the 13th of August.
Yeah, so August 13th. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I think you and I could probably sit here for 4 hours and
easily
talk sports.
I got one topic I can think of for at least 5 hours.
Yeah, I've got a quarter of a page here. I've got another page there, another page here. We can talk about anything from Golden Bear baseball, Division III sports, all the way up to the professional ranks. But man, I know you had mentioned before we started talking, Greg and I did a podcast a couple weeks ago.
Very good podcast. I truly did enjoy it. But just like with anything, we have our agrees, and we agree and disagree on some things.
I'm sure you agree with everything I said and disagree with everything Greg said.
No, actually, I agreed with most things Greg said. There was one, and I pointed it out to you that I disagreed with him big time. And this is in no particular order. I think I wrote it down first because I think it was the first thing you talked about was the Paul Pierce Kevin Garnett trade.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
From a Celtics fan,
before you continue, let me just point out to our listeners, all 5 of them, Kruger is wearing a Brooklyn Nets T-shirt with the number 2 on it, which
Kevin Garnett's
KG,
new number.
which you told me he's wearing in honor of Malik Saley.
Yep.
Who was his teammate in Minnesota.
I guess they were very good friends, and I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think he died in a car accident.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was leaving KG's birthday party.
Really?
Like I don't know how old he was turning, but
no shit.
So there was a serious connection there. It's funny you asked me why is he wearing 2?
Yeah.
And I looked it up. I Googled it.
Really?
Because 5 I think is available with the Nets.
5's available. I'm pretty sure 21 was available,
yeah,
which was his number. I'm a numbers geek like that. I don't think anyone else cares. So you see something like number 2, and it just.
As a Celtics fan, I'm glad he didn't wear 5. You know.
Right?
I'm glad.
And I'd like to see the Celtics kind of keep. I don't think they have to retire number 5, but I'd like to keep them at least a couple years. Just don't give it to some rookie who came in from the D League. You know what I mean?
That's one of my topics too. We'll touch on that. Not necessarily number 5, but
I cut you off. Continue.
To answer your question,
yeah.
Do I like the trade as a Celtics fan?
Yeah.
No, I would have hung on to him as long as I can, and I believe the quote was, "That's why I'm a fan, not a general manager."
Yep.
Now, saying that, I don't think the Celtics are going to be as bad as people think they are going to be.
I don't think so either.
And part of it is, and this has kind of been the trend for a little while now, I don't think the East is very good.
Who do you have, Miami?
Yeah, obviously you've got Miami.
Brooklyn now?
Brooklyn, Chicago, the Pacers. Everyone wants to put the Knicks at the 5 slot. I'm not a Knicks guy. I to this day truly believe if they had Rondo, the Celtics would have beat the Knicks in that first round. Would they have gone farther? I don't know. That's a debate. But you really look at it. So the Celtics were the 7th seed last year, right?
Yep.
So the Bucks were behind them.
Yep.
The Bucks got much worse.
Who they say? Did they signed somebody? But
they got rid of Jennings. They got rid of Ellis.
Yeah.
Or they traded them or signed as free agents. The 76ers are going to be awful. So they were right behind them.
Yeah.
The Wizards, everyone's ready to say it's John Wall's year. I'm not buying into it.
Is he a max contract guy? What has
he just gave him $80 million, I think.
Man, the NBA is so out of whack. But anyways.
And the Cavs, they have Bynum, but you know what? Bynum could be out another 82 games.
I tell you what, out of all those teams you just listed,
yeah,
I like where Cleveland's going.
They have a very, very young team.
I like Irving, man, and they got a couple of those high. I like where they went with the first pick this year, but anyways, I can't remember the kid's name.
And the point that I wanted to get at is my ultimate. When I first saw it, I said the Nets are going to challenge the Heat. Maybe challenge them, not sit here and say that they're better than the Heat. Because I really believe, I think KG has always given the Heat a tough matchup. He's the one guy that Bosch doesn't match up very good with.
Sure.
And I think no one's going to stop LeBron, but I think Pierce can at least match him.
He's not afraid of him.
Yes, perfect. He's not afraid of him as a as a competitor.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, after listening to the press conference and everything, if I'm a Nets fan, I'm a little worried because I think they're going to miss Boston. I really do. And as a Celtics fan, I love it. I absolutely love it because all they talked about is how they love Boston, this and that. So I worry that there's a little bit of a letdown as a Nets fan. Look, again, I think they're at the worst a 4 seed.
The Nets.
Yeah, the Nets.
Yeah, the Nets. Yeah.
Now, saying that, I think one thing the Nets can do that the Celtics never were able to do the last 2 years is they can limit Pierce and Garnett's minutes a little bit. The Celtics had to play him a lot because the ironic thing is the last 2 years, the two guys that were pretty healthy were Pierce and Garnett.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about how old they were. They played every game, every minute of every game. Everyone else around them was hurt.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my feeling. Do I like it? Not really. Not a big.
As a fan, no.
No.
You don't like it.
No.
But from the other side, the business side, the Danny Ainge side,
I think you had to do it.
I love it, man. I love it. I love where this. I need them to keep Rondo. The key to me, looking at this team, Jeff Green, Rajon Rondo, and then that third person. I don't think it's Avery Bradley. I don't think it's Brandon Bass. Do I think it's Sullinger? No. Is it I can't pronounce the new guy's name. I like him a lot. Olynyk?
Oh, yeah, Kelly Olynyk, yep.
I like him a lot,
Poor
man.
man's Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think the Celtics are a playoff team.
I think you hit it right on the head. It's that third guy because Bass, those guys you mentioned, Bass, Bradley, and Sullinger are all guys I like a lot, but they're not going to be that guy. They're not going to be that third in a big three. I shouldn't have said that, but you kind of get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm still a believer. Is Boston, New York, L.A., or Miami? No, but I still think you could find one of those guys in free agents. I'm not, as a fan, again, I keep using the word fan, I'm not huge into tanking to be in the lottery. Personally,
especially in the NBA.
Yes. I would rather see them sit around 6, 7, and 8 and wait for that free agent or that trade, like a Garnett trade or something, to happen, to possibly happen.
Is that guy possibly from the same place? They got KG with the same first name. The only guy who stands out in my head is Kevin Love, and they have enough chips to maybe confuse Minnesota enough. Now Kevin Love seems to be injured and miss half the season every year.
He was out most of the year last year.
But I feel like you put him on a team that's.
He strikes me as a Boston guy too.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you hear people complain about, you hear everyone, all the Celtics at the time, it was, when the Lakers almost got Paul and stuff like that. Well, let's rewind to 2007, July 31st, 2007. The Celtics got away with highway robbery, getting Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
So it can happen. It definitely can happen. Did they get help that, McHale was a Celtics guy and, that. But I think it can happen. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they're going to be.
I don't think so. I don't think so. The way I look at it, as former athletes ourselves, I mean, I'd still consider ourselves athletes to an extent, but from being on an organized team, when somebody bashes you as a team, and when somebody writes you off, it strikes a nerve.
Yeah.
And especially when you're on a team and you have teammates and your team gets along and the players like each other and you like your coach, you're gonna want to prove people wrong and you play with a chip on your shoulder. And I want this Celtics team to do that, and I want them to get flagrant fouls. I want them to get teed up. I want them to let people know that they're there. They're not going to be intimidated, and that they're going to win some games, and I think at the very least they're going to be exciting. I think they're going to sneak into the playoffs for the very reason that the rest of the East is.
I think one of the ironic things about the trade is getting Chris Humphries, because he was the kind of guy that you could have really used these last 2 years. Just look, but he's a big body. They never had that big body that could rebound 12, get 12 rebounds a game.
Do you think he's going to stick around? Because they talked about one of the rumors I heard was swapping him and Ben Gordon.
If that was the case, I'd do it all day.
You'd take Ben Gordon over Humphries?
I would take Ben Gordon.
Something about Humphries I like because he is a big body. He'll bang. But Gerald Wallace is another guy. Like, he didn't show up to the press conference. He had other obligations.
I remember seeing the press conference. I'm like, where's Walt?
They said he had a basketball camp that he had agreed to previously. But I feel like, that right there. That's a terrible contract. He's got like 3 years left at $10 million a year. Like he looks like he's 40 years old. Or
he had his moments in Portland though.
I feel like he used to be good.
Yeah.
You know. What else? Greg and I we talked about a couple other things.
And it's kind of weird that it struck me, but Derek Jeter.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure. I wish I had listened to it before, but and this is the one thing that Greg said that drove me nuts, along the lines of he's only gotten 3,400 hits because he's hit at the top of the lineup.
Yeah.
Could not disagree more.
Okay. Why?
He has 3,400 hits because he's one of the best players to ever play the game.
Correct, yeah.
Derek Jeter is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Is he unanimous? Could he be a unanimous Hall of Famer? No links to PEDs.
Should he be? Yes.
There'll be one idiot out there.
Some clown will not vote for him.
Even the Boston guys who would vote for him first ballot, absolutely.
And I mean, he is the definition of a guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
He's a winner. And you guys discussed Dustin Pedroia, how he's hitting in the three hole. He's really a two-hitter. Well, Derek Jeter spent most of his career hitting out of his real spot in the lineup. He's a two-hitter too. He's led off. He's been third. He's been fourth, and he just rakes.
When I think of a two-hole guy, I think of Jeter.
Yeah.
And I do also think of Pedroia.
Yeah.
And I agreed with Greg a little bit to the point. Oh, I agreed with him with the Pedroia thing. Like this lineup scoring the most runs in baseball.
Yeah.
I think is remarkable because Pedroia is hitting third. He's not a third hitter in a lineup. But anyways, the Jeter thing, first ballot Hall of Famer. I agree with you. I mean, wherever you hit, a hit's a hit.
Well, and not only that, I mean, you hit your best guys to the top of the lineup. That's the idea. You want to get them as many at bats as you can. One of the things that does bother me about Jeter, and I don't like the Yankees, but how can you not respect the guy? I hate it when people bring up the comment, well, if he got drafted by the Orioles, would he have 5 World Series? No. But if Kobe Bryant got drafted by the Detroit Pistons,
or stayed with the Charlotte Hornets,
yeah. I mean, you can make that. If Shaq didn't sign with the Lakers, you can make those statements all day long.
Yeah.
I just think he should be a first ballot. A unanimous Hall of Famer.
I agree.
And that's just one thing that stuck out to me. I mean, it's not it's not easy to get 3,400 hits. I mean, he's gonna maybe get up to 37, 30. It depends how much, how healthy he is.
I mean, the poll that I saw, it was years ago. I don't know if it's the same nowadays, but I mean, having somebody did a poll and said the hardest thing in sports was to hit a baseball.
Yep.
I'm gonna guess if it's not up there, it's still one of the harder things to do. So they make it look. These guys on TV make it look so easy, and it's not. And I think you take it for granted. And I agree with you. Okay, so we have Jeter. Yeah. We have the Nets. What other recaps do you want to do?
I'm gonna just throw a number out there to you. And
I like numbers.
38.
Kurt Schilling.
Or Thornton.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Okay, so I think we might discuss this in texting.
Yep.
But I feel the same exact way you do.
I understand that Schilling has in the past seasons, the last couple of years has run his mouth about the ownership.
Yeah.
Have a little respect though. Have a little respect. He I don't want to say he single-handedly won you, but when your first text to me is who meant more in Red Sox history, Schilling or Clemens? And I said Schilling because his 2004 postseason will go down in baseball lore, baseball history.
Even the regular season.
He was awesome that year. And you kind of look back, you look back from the 2003 to the 2004 team, he was the one thing they didn't have in 2003, him and Falk.
Yep.
So he came in and produced right away, and it's not easy to come into Boston and produce right away. He was coming off of remember he broke his hand the year before.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on him. Did he talk too much? Yeah, probably.
And he hasn't shut up since.
Yeah, and trust me, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Because you look back at those times. I mean, you said they haven't given out 21 45. You know, just think if all of a sudden Gerald Wallace is wearing 34.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. And I mentioned something in spring training. Why is Mike Karp wearing 38?
Well, that's what bothers me is what happened between spring training and now, where Mike Karp was wearing 38, and then he made the team, and they gave him 37.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Matt Thornton comes along, a lefty reliever out of the bullpen who will probably be gone at the end of the year. Okay, we're 38. So I'm just curious to see. And the thing, I saw Clemens at Fenway, kind of went under the radar.
Yeah,
but I saw him at like a press conference after the game, and I got to thinking, I honestly don't think anyone has worn number 21.
I don't remember one
since he left.
Yeah.
So what in the I'm baffled.
My hope, and I could be way offline on this, is sometime in spring training, one of the guys who's been there a while, maybe it's Ortiz or Pedroia, said, look, I mean, I don't think you should wear 38 for X reasons. I could be 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. Maybe ownership went to him and said, hey, you're a backup first baseman. You probably shouldn't be wearing 38.
Maybe the guy who made the uniforms was like, dude, no, I'm just going to give you 37.
God bless him for it. If that's the case, he deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah.
You're a big numbers guy, more than I am, but that drives me nuts. I notice those kind of things.
Yeah.
It's just it's a disrespect to me. Me personally, I think Schilling's a Hall of Famer. That's a big debate. Probably the best postseason pitcher.
I think he's a Hall of Famer too. Lee's dad doesn't think so.
Best postseason starting pitcher in the last 20 years or so. The numbers don't lie.
It's a bold statement. It's a bold statement.
But we could discuss that for another 3 hours. But
it was interesting too in that trade with Detroit and Chicago. Iglesias went to Detroit, and Lou Whitaker, who played for the Tigers for 18 or 19 seasons, he wore number 1.
Yep.
And nobody's worn number 1 since, and they gave it to Iglesias.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, you got events. You can't retire every number because otherwise you'd be wearing triple digits.
And I remember I was watching something with the Yankees. They've retired so many numbers. They're running out of numbers because you figure 42 is done. Well, obviously it's done anyways because he's the last player. Jeter 2's done.
6 will be retired. They're not Joe Torre.
Yeah, Posada might be retired. Pettit. I mean, you're running out of numbers to just give out to people.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to like football.
Do you unretire people? Hey, look, looking back, you weren't that important. We're going to bring
Yeah, if you take one person's number away, then you got to take them all away. But like football, Brian Waters wore number 54.
Yeah.
I think Hightower's wearing 54 now.
Yep.
I saw Amendola wearing 80.
Yep.
Troy Brown.
Who's wearing forget, someone's wearing 85, which was originally Aaron Hernandez before Ocho Cinco took it.
Yeah, that's right.
So
so anyways, that's that.
One more I got. Jen in the car might be calling me. The last one I have. Okay.
Jen in the car. We have our first call.
You touched on it the last 5 minutes or so, kind of the last 10 to 12 years in Boston.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is I don't think people understand how good it's been.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, and this just kind of struck me with Patriots preseason, and there's people are starting to throw predictions out there. Let's just say 2013 Patriots go 10-6. We'll say they won't win the division. Something miraculous happens, and they're a wild card team and lose in the first round. As a Patriots fan, what are you thinking?
It's a disappointing season.
But it's not. Do you know how hard it is to win 10 games in the NFL?
I'm with you, man. Yeah.
And the reason why I don't think people understand how hard it is to, I mean, you really, and just use the Patriots as an example. Mm-hmm. You've got a quarterback who's never lost or never won less than 10 games.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you guys said, what was your favorite moment the last 12 years? Obviously 2004. That's 9 out of 10 Boston sports fans.
Were you at Winnick?
I was at Winnick.
Were we in the donuts watching that?
I was not. I was in the what were those suites called? They're like right on
Evergreen, Gateway, Wyndham.
Nope. I think it was Wyndham. They were just built, sophomore housing. They're like, trying to think, like Jaycon's wife lived in this.
Oh,
below
yes,
me.
right behind.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
they had the classrooms in there.
Exactly.
What the hell was the name of that place?
Gateway was.
Gateway was across the street. Yeah, I can't remember. It'll come back to me, but.
And so my first thought is, okay, let's look back and what's the worst time? And I think 9 out of 10 fans would say when they lost the Super Bowl, the 18-0 team.
Yeah.
But then I always sit there and say, like, we look back now, right? I'll use this as an example. Last year, the Falcons, right? Yeah. They got to like 8-0, 9-0, and everyone's saying undefeated season. Like, if you're Teddy Bruschi, are you laughing? Yeah. Like, they've got 10 games to reach what you did.
Oh, yeah.
10 games.
Yeah.
I think I texted you a couple years ago when the Packers, they got to like 12-0, 13-0. They had a month's worth of wins to get to where the Patriots were.
Yeah.
But I don't think people understand how hard that is. Was it disappointing? Absolutely. Ultimately, they didn't get the job done. And you're starting to, you're starting to see some of our superstars get older. Brady's getting older. Ortiz is getting older.
Belichick's getting older.
Belichick's getting older. Francona's not here anymore.
Doc Rivers is gone. KG Pierce, all those guys. Zdeno Chara is not young either. But the point is it's been such a good run. People don't appreciate it, I don't think. I hear people talk, and it's so hard to consistently, especially in a league like the NFL, where really think about how many teams finish last one year and then they're winning the division. It happens all the time. It's just, I don't think people appreciate just how hard it is. Think about it this way. If Belichick and Brady go into Kraft's office tomorrow and say, hey, look, we're tired, we're done. It's an unreal run. Yeah, you're disappointed, it might have ended early, but the last 12 years, they've averaged 12 wins a year. Yeah.
That means if one year they win 10, they've got to win 14 the next year to make up for it.
The other thing, too, and talking with Greg, because I've known Greg since middle school, and not only the joy in seeing your sports team win, but sharing that with your family, with your friends. And I was trying to think about where I was for like each championship win, and it's just those times that you come together, I think, are what makes it that much more special. And when you're older and you're telling your kids about it and you're telling stories, you're going to include that. It's not just that they won. It's like I was here when it happened.
Even you look at, I always, say baseball because baseball really lets in the least amount of teams. Now it's 5. It used to be 4.
Yeah.
The Red Sox were in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2007.
I think baseball is the craziest out of them all because out of the 30 teams, 8 of them get in. And I just think that, to me, that is remarkable.
And, you look, last year, where the Red Sox was an absolute debacle. But you look, and, Francona wasn't there, and no one loves Francona more than me, but you look at the way Bobby Valentine handled a lot of the situation. It makes you kind of appreciate, there was a couple, I'm sure there was times where Francona just wanted to absolutely lose it, whether it's on the players, management, the reporters, but it's not easy managing here, coaching here, playing here. And that's why when they signed the Dustin Pedroia to, $100 million, what was it, 8 years, $100 million, someone asked me, is he a $100 million player? No. But you know what? He wants to be here. He appreciates the town. He understands there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of you've got to there's a lot of media. You've got to do spots on sports radio. It's part of the deal.
You've got to embrace it.
Yeah, and I think we've learned, especially with the Red Sox these last 2 years, is that a lot of guys aren't cut for it. You know, and you have to take advantage of the guys that that obviously is a great player, MVP, World Series champion, but that just say, look, I love being here. I truly enjoy the passion. And that's the thing with me. I don't think people at times appreciate, because what reality is one day, the Patriots 7 years from now are going to go down on a game-winning drive, and Ryan Mallett's going to throw a pick, and you're going to say, man, what Brady did wasn't exactly as easy as it looked.
Ryan Mallett?
I like Ryan Mallett a lot, but I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. It's not going to be, the people are going to realize, man, it's not as easy as it seemed like it was.
Yeah.
So that was just my 2 cents on that.
That's
the last
good stuff,
10 years
man.
in Boston.
I'm glad you listened to it, and that's kind of what we're trying to do with these things, is kind of get them out to a few people, hear what we have to say, and then kind of get some reaction. I told Greg, half joking around, hopefully he listens to this, but I told him we're going to name the podcast At the End of the Day, because I went back and listened to it.
Yeah.
And he probably said, at the end of the day, 20 times, and I don't even know if he still picked up on the fact that I called it at the end of the day. But
he's probably like, man, that's a stupid name for it.
I love Greg, and he's a busy schedule, but we gotta hook up, and all three of us. I got a couple fresh topics if you want.
Mind if I do one more?
Dog, hey man, floor is yours.
Just one more.
Yeah.
Just because the Nationals were on before.
Sure.
Steven Strasburg. The Nationals are proving why you don't shut down Steven Strasburg last year.
Wow.
You never know when you're going to be in contention and when you're not going to be in contention.
I completely forgot about that.
Remember
Has anyone talked about that?
No.
Wow.
Look at them. They're 4 or 5 games. I had them winning about 160 games.
I had them in the World Series.
Yeah, I had them winning it, But I think you look back and you never know when you're going to be in contention. That's why I'm okay with the Peavy deal. You never know. You don't know what's going to happen next year. You always go for it.
Yeah. You're not kidding. I completely forgot about that. They shut him down. That whole thing bothered me because if you're going to limit his innings, why not delay his start instead of cutting him short at the end? You know what I mean?
Do you think
they were just better than they thought they were going to be?
Probably. I think they thought they were going to be like, well, look, they had come in knowing that they had some young talent. Maybe they'd be around 500. My thing is so he's coming back from Tommy John, right?
Yeah.
If he has, let's say he has a second Tommy John, well, guess what? His career is probably over anyways.
Yeah.
So you probably had a bad egg. So you know what? I think in a way, I think there's less risk because you're saying, look, if he has to have another arm surgery, whether it's this year, next year, 5 years, chances are he's done, or he's not going to be Steven Strasburg, quote unquote.
Yeah. He hasn't had. I mean, he's had a good year, but he's not.
Ever since
I don't know, he's not.
He got matched up with Harvey. And Harvey shoved, and Strasburg. Yeah, I wouldn't say he struggled, but Harvey was that good.
Harvey's a dude.
Yeah, he hasn't. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been Steven Strasburg because his numbers were really good before he got shut down.
Harvey's a dude. One thing I always respected and appreciated playing for the G Bears was with LeBranch.
Yep.
He always had the attitude of just winning the next game.
Yep.
And it wasn't all right, save this guy for game 2.
Yeah. You got to win now. Yeah.
Now, when we're playing the powerhouses, you've got to line up the staff and get, Big C and Jay Conn on the mound. Let Mike and I mop up the Rivieres or the Daniel Websters, which I had no problem doing.
Two saves in one day.
2 wins in one day.
2 wins, that's correct.
But no, I always liked the fact that he win the game that you're playing now, worry about whatever you have to worry about later, because when you start getting into, all right, well, let's hold off till game 2 to do this, you're just going to get yourself in trouble. And I think that's exactly what the Nationals did.
And look, I think ultimately, if the Nationals, for the most part, keep their team pretty much the same, I think they're going to be all right next year too. Is their future bright? Absolutely, but you have Strasburg. Who knows? I mean, they lost to the Cardinals in the 9th inning of Game 5 of the ALDS. Or the NLDS, excuse me.
Should have won. They were. Think about how close they were.
Yeah, they get into the NLCS. Anything can happen. The Cardinals were up 3-1 on the Giants at NLCS. They win. They have, and then you get to the World Series. The Tigers.
Look at the Rangers in the World Series.
Yeah.
Nelson Cruz catches that ball.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm the GM, I sit there and say, what could have been. Ultimately, maybe he goes out there and sucks in the playoffs, but you just never know.
Yeah.
At least you could know, hey, I put my best guy out there. So be it,
One thing, and I called Greg and left him a voicemail yesterday.
He told me about this voicemail, actually.
Oh, that's right. You saw him at the gym. Which gym did you see him at?
Planet Fitness in Shrewsbury.
It's a nice gym, huh?
Very nice gym.
It's long. A lot of cardio.
It's long. It's as you see it.
Is Jen still texting you?
No, it's Mike.
Oh, Mike. Okay, Richardson.
Richardson.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday, Mike! Yesterday.
Oh yeah, Mike. Happy birthday, August 12th. I left him a voicemail. Though he's hooked on pool holes, and listen, we can talk about pool holes, but what drives me absolutely insane is when a professional athlete, I don't care what sport it is, comes out and says, "I've been tested 100 times. Mm-hmm. I've never failed the test." Mm-hmm. That means zero to me.
Yeah.
Because the drugs that are out there today, the concoctions that can be made up. Thousands.
Yeah.
And they are so far ahead of the testing.
Yeah.
means nothing to me. That could mean that you are taking something that they can't detect. It also drives me nuts, and Bonds used to say it, I'm not on anything now.
Yeah.
I'm clean now. Test me now.
Yeah.
Well, what about 4 years ago?
Yep.
2 years ago? And I'm sorry. I think it's funny because Pujols came out. Jack Clark, the radio guys, that's a whole different subject. He was very specific.
Yep.
Like, you can question guys.
Yep.
You got to be careful about it, especially on the radio because of lawsuits.
Yeah.
But he named names. But the Pujols and then Mike Trout. And if all I got to say is shut up. Just shut up, because in 5 years, in 2 years, in 10 years, something's going to come out on you, because I'm sorry, you can't.
And that's the thing. When I heard Trout, I'm just going to use Trout as an example. I said there's no question in my mind at some point something's going to, whether he tests whatever, someone's going to leak that he takes this, that, X, Y.
Kruger, the eye test. I'm sorry, man. I am so sorry, Kruger. We've played, listen, there are some very good ball players out there, but we've been tricked and fooled so many times. The best of the best usually are the best because of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, your head is the size of a basketball. You've got the square face. You're just destroying. I'm sorry, man, but it's
the thing with the Pujols thing. I try to err. Maybe I'm naive, but I hope that nothing, just for the sake of baseball, because I love baseball. The Pujols thing, I think if he continues to go down and he's opening up a can of worms he doesn't want to. Because he might sue him for, saying X, Y, and Z.
What they call defamation?
Yeah, but something's going to come out. Hey, but, this happened, and before you know it, everything that Jack Clark said was wrong, but there's new stuff coming out. That's the concern. If you're him, you're getting accused, but I would just let it be, because there's just so much going on right now. I mean,
there's other ways to clear the air. I just thought the reaction from Pujols was like a 2-paragraph written statement, which Greg texted me every single word. Well written, well put together.
And he's a Pujols supporter he's right.
Greg has for years told me the story of Pujols was in an elevator or going into an elevator, and there was another person. There was a girl. Woman on the elevator, and Pujols got off and wouldn't even ride in the same elevator with the woman because he didn't want to be accused of like getting caught with another woman or cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
And
well, he's got the background, his wife now had a child from a previous marriage. I don't even know if they were married, and he's the child's disabled, and he took him in like his son, which is great. My stance of the PEDs right now, and this is kind of from the heart, is it bothers me. Like, I worry. Like, I'll take, for instance, Friday night, Miguel Cabrera versus Mariano Rivera. Did you see that at bat?
I didn't see Friday.
Did you see it on Sunday?
You texted me after he said he had just hit a 4.
Yeah.
It was Sunday.
Yeah, he did it again Sunday. I mean, you watch a guy like Cabrera, who is the best hitter in baseball, but you worry at one point something's going to come out that he's doing something wrong. As a fan, it bothers me, the fact that you have an error of 1995 to about 2007, where your best pitcher and your best hitter were dirty.
Yeah,
Clemens and Bonds.
Yeah,
that bothers me. It bothers me as a fan. But at the same time, I don't blame them. Is they're willing to do this stuff to make more money, but no one cares about making it to the Hall of Fame anymore. Yeah. No one cares about that kind of stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you were in the position that, say, Lou Merloni or even a Clemens or a Bonds or even, say, a Pujols, where you're in that Ellsbury, you're in a contract year, and you have the chance to take something that will put you over the top, knowing that it will help you get that big contract, would you do it? Now we're talking millions. We're talking the difference.
Probably yes. And let me flip it to another way that a lot of people don't look at. Let's take you and Lee.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a son, and you have an opportunity to make $200,000 as opposed to $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But you might have to do something, I don't know.
Like travel more often?
Yeah, or do something that's going to deter. Would you do it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think, and that's
quality of life, I guess.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is it comes down to
$200,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and they're probably saying, man, $100 million, that's a lot of dough.
Yeah.
My family's set for a long time.
Quick question, you Darvish. I was thinking to myself earlier. I think it's been 5 or 6, maybe 4 games this year, 14 Ks or more.
Love you, Darvish.
Is he the best pitcher in baseball?
Funny, Richardson texted me, who's the best pitcher in baseball?
I asked you because he texted me too, and I answered him, Kershaw.
I think he wanted me to say Kershaw because it was Sunday night and Kershaw was pitching against the Rays. I still said Verlander. And the reason why, and if it wasn't Verlander, I was going to say Kershaw, and the reason why is I think Verlander's done it a little better in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
He's never gotten it done on the World Series stage. He hasn't been bad, but he hasn't been good. But I just, not saying that, Verlander's not the best pitcher on his own staff this year.
If you needed to win a game in the playoffs right now and you're the Tigers, I would start Verlander.
Oh, absolutely.
Get my game one starter
funny,
for Detroit
I was thinking about that
Verlander.
today.
I love Scherzer, but I feel like somebody's going to figure him out.
He's got a funky motion, and I feel like there's one game where he's just going to go out there and walk 6 guys.
Yeah.
Just because his motion is not a fluid motion. Verlander last year, Tigers win the first 2 games. A's win the next 2 games. Verlander, 9 innings, 10 Ks, was just lights out. It was just dominant.
He's got the body. He strikes me too, like for fantasy baseball.
Yep.
I know you don't do it, but I'm in a keeper league. You can keep 4 plays each year, blah, blah, blah. I traded Chris Sale for Justin Verlander.
Who's the guy?
Who's Jake Sanders, the kid who runs the league.
Yeah.
Guy who runs the league, I guess I say now. He's a big Chicago White Sox fan.
Okay.
Verlander's down. Long term, though, I would rather have Verlander.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Chris Sale is nasty, low whip, low ERA, lots of Ks, but he throws across his body, and he weighs about 150 pounds.
He did throw very well last night against the Tigers.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Well, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking keeping Verlander.
No,
plus, I'm thinking wins is a category in fantasy.
Yeah.
And Chris Sale is going to get half as many wins as Verlander.
And it's funny, after Mike texted me that, and I said Verlander, I came home and was watching the game, and Kershaw was just lights out, just awesome. That's going to be an interesting situation with the Dodgers because they already gave $120 million.
How much money do they have?
Well, the thing is if I'm Kershaw, I'm sitting there saying I don't want to say twice the pitcher, but I'm much better than Zach Greinke.
He's a left-handed version of Zach Greinke, except better.
Yeah. So you're saying, man, if we gave him $120 million, what do I get?
He's going to get $200 million.
Yeah.
He's going to get.
How much did Verlander get?
Put me on the spot. I
want to say it was close to 200. How much did King Felix get?
Ooh, I want to say 160 or because King Felix got signed, and then didn't Verlander sign?
Yes,
just a little bit more.
Yep.
I want to say it was up around 160 or something. Going back, you Darvish, he strikes me. He's a unique guy. The thing that I love about him, doesn't pitch out of the windup.
That's your kind of guy.
But he throws mid-90s, and he has all this great off-speed stuff. The dude doesn't, and I don't. For those people who have stood on a mound and thrown a baseball, correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever it is, whether you're building up enough momentum when you fall forward to home plate, you're gonna throw a mile per hour or 2 faster from a windup. You're also a little bit more deceiving. I mean, Dempster's on the mound now. He does the stupid glove thing.
Yeah.
You bring your hands over the head. You can hide the ball a little bit longer.
Yep.
Out of the stretch, it's kind of like you come to a set.
Here it is, gentlemen.
hit my pitch.
Yeah.
And I love Darvish.
Do you know he warms up left-handed too? Warms up right-handed and left-handed.
He can throw like 85 or 90 lefty, right?
Yeah.
The guy's a freak.
When the Rangers signed him, I don't know who I texted, but I say because everyone was saying, oh, here's another Dice K, here's another Nomo, who are good pitchers but could never take it to the next level, I guess.
Yeah.
I from the beginning thought he had a chance to be a dude. Just something about him. You look at him, he's tall, he's got a good body, and you know what? He looks like he wants to shove on you.
Yeah.
Dice Case sometimes looks like he's just out there to hang out, nibble in and out.
Nibble.
Yeah,
Darvish is like,
Darvish says, look, here's 95. When in his first start, when he was getting late into the game, with the no-hitter, he was throwing fastballs saying, hey, look, hit it. If you can hit it, great. If not, I'm going to get a no-hitter. I love Darvish.
He owns Houston. What is he, like 2 starts? 2 hits.
He's given up like 2 hits.
Like 30 Ks.
Yeah.
2 games. It's like, that's what teams. I mean, Houston is awful, but I mean that's kind of what we expected with them jumping over to the West.
I'm a very big Darvish fan.
He wears number 11 too.
Hey, can I tell you?
I love Darvish. He's my favorite player. I just realized I came to that conclusion.
Funny story about number 11. The other day I was handing out shirts. We're doing a team in August, and I just took one for myself, and it was number 11.
Oh, no kidding.
So, of course, Jen, my wife, wore number 11.
Yeah.
And she goes, ooh, number 11. I go, yeah, I'm going to wear number 11. And I go, in honor of Egg. She goes, who? I go, Egg. Egg wore number 11. She goes, who else wore number 11? I go, I don't know, Clay Buchholz wears number 11. She's like, I did. I was like, oh, yeah, you too, in honor of you.
That's great.
So,
that's funny. We went to Hampton Beach not this past weekend, the weekend before, and we were just a late night trip to the beach. We're going to go to Northworks, and we just kept driving to New Hampshire. So
an extra hour.
Yeah, we got like some pizzas, sat on the beaches. Actually, a real good time. But we walked by one of like those stores there. You can like the Jersey Shore store.
Yep.
And there was a USA tank top mesh with the USA across the chest and an American flag.
Yep.
And it had number 6 for LeBron. And I'm like, I love that, but I'm like, I don't want number 6. So we went in the store to see if they had another number, and it was everything was blank, and you have to press it on.
Yeah.
So Lee got me a USA tank top with the number 11, USA flag, sickest tank top you've ever seen.
Nice.
Get home to put it on.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a kid's XL or something. This thing wouldn't fit you, man. This thing's so freaking tight. I was so bummed out because I was going to wear it like this past weekend camping, and it was like a kid's shirt. But anyways, yeah, the number 11. Again, we're back to the numbers thing. Want to kind of switch topics a little bit, if you don't mind. Today, August 13th, 4 years ago, Sports Hub started, put on the air. I got to ask you a question. How have they? I think they are kicking ass and taking names. And what have they done to Boston Sports Radio, to EI? What kind of impact have they had? I think it's been remarkable. The ratings speak for themselves.
And that's the thing, is the ratings are through the roof. I mean, no matter who, Felger and Maz is dominating Big O, Holly, Soul.
Big O got fired because of Sports Hub and because of...
I think there's something... WEI got stale.
They got stale. That's a great point. They were the only ones.
And can you really blame them? They were killing it.
They were the only ones. They're AM, the same guys. They didn't step out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And when Felger and Maz came aboard, it was like, holy crap. It was like Felger, I can picture right now, he's at Comcast doing his thing there. But he does his homework and he texts Maz and Bertrand, and they have a legit game plan. And the points they bring up, I think right now, this kind of leads into my other question. Who is the best radio sports guy right now in town? Is it Felger? Is it Hawley? I said Hawley for years, but I tell you what,
Hawley never. I think you're ultimately going to look at Hawley. I think he was a midday kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
I thought him and Dale
got bad.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not a Mutt fan.
Neither am I.
And Merlone, it
drives me nuts when Merlone talks anything but baseball.
Like, it drives me nuts when Gresh and Zoe talk anything about something besides football.
Yeah.
You know, but I wish I think Holly is so bright and is so smart and has such good insight. I try, man. I try to listen to him and Salk, but I can't get into it, man.
I'll tell you what. To answer your question, I would probably go with Felger right now.
Yeah.
Because I think he's pretty honest.
He is.
You know what show I do like? Is I like when Maserati does his baseball show 6 to 7 during the summer. I think he does a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw you a little curveball here, and I've been saying this for years. One of my favorite people on the radio, and I'm shocked. Or if I was the GM,
what you're gonna say.
I would put this person on.
Is it she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jackie McMullen.
Yeah.
The best.
Maybe, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if she was approached and she just said no.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. You go back a while ago, and this is probably before we even started listening to sports radio. Her and WEEI, they were just being jerks and used some kind of homophobic slur. Well, she was not slur, but kind of hinted at it.
Comment.
Yeah, made an inappropriate comment, and she was on discussing. I don't know if it was Patriots, Red Sox, whatever it was, and she hung up on him.
Really?
Yeah. This I remember reading about this. This was a while ago. This had to be like 2001, 2002.
Wow.
So there was always an awkward feel there, and there was a time after she did it, WEEI said they weren't going to let anyone from the Boston Globe on the shows.
That's
and
right.
So the Boston Globe came back and said that's okay. We don't want anyone on WEEI anyway. So there was a little tug of war there.
And that changed only because the Sports Hub showed up.
Yes, and they needed them.
Yep.
I just think with WEEI, I'm not a huge fan of either morning show. If I were to lean, I would lean towards Dennis and Callahan because Toucher and Rich don't do it for me. But if I could 100% understand why people wouldn't want to listen to Dennis and Callahan.
John Dennis creeps me out, man. That guy's got issues. I'm sorry.
They've been told not to talk politics anymore.
Really?
They're not allowed to talk any politics.
Really?
Because their ratings were going so far down. They said, look, you've got to talk sports, and that's it.
But they act like their ratings aren't. We're podcasting and we're talking about sports radio, but the point is, fourth year of the Sports Hub, I think my original question was how has it changed Boston sports radio? I think for
they have the Patriots.
They paid attention to hockey.
Yeah.
Timing
is everything.
Couldn't have been better.
So their first year was what, 2009? So you look back, that 2010 year was the year that they went down 0-3. So good or bad, it's something that everyone wants to talk about. Then the next year, obviously the Stanley Cup championship.
Perfect
the next
timing.
year, everyone's still loving the Stanley Cup, and then this year they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Getting the Patriots too is huge.
Yeah.
You ever notice Comcast? Because when the
Red Sox contract's up with WEEI soon too.
Is it
Just
really?
throwing that out there.
It still drives me nuts how Sports Hub and EI radio guys are going up against each other during the day,
Then
they're on Comcast co-hosting a show. Like when I turn on, it's Felger and Hawley.
Yeah.
To me, that's a dream team.
Yeah.
But so I'll watch that. But then you see Mark DeVito Bertrand talking to Lou Maloney.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I just 4 years. I remember too because I've been working same job for 6 years. Most of the day I'm on the road.
Yeah.
I literally remember listening to that 2 o'clock. When the Sports Hubs, when they made the switch from Mix 98.5,
Yep.
they played, I don't know if you remember, old Patriots games.
Yep.
Playoff games, Super Bowls, until they were ready to go live.
Online. Yep.
And I remember it was Tangway and Zolak.
Yep.
And then Tangway got the boot because he was just terrible. And
Within a good 7-8 months.
It was just see you later.
And the best part was they had Gresh come in as a third person, and then they're like, okay, Tango, that's enough.
See you later.
One of the things that I remember and it was the first day, and I'll always remember it, is Felger and Maserati go on. They're kind of, and they don't really need an introduction.
Sure.
Everyone knows them. Their email address. Their first email address is Felger and Maserati at 985thesportshub.com.
I remember that.
And I'm just picturing someone trying to email them, typing in Felger and Maserati at 985thesportshub.com.
That's something, though, they can look back on now and laugh because they deserve to get paid. They do a great job, I think. They're entertaining as all heck, and that's the one.
I think Bertrand does a good job too. I mean, that's one of the other things.
He's a good third wheel.
Yeah, he's a very good third wheel. And the reason why I say Felger's the best is I think it really, when he's on like vacation, you can tell. You know, when it's Bertrand and Maz, or Bertrand and Summer or Maz.
Bertrand and Wiggy.
Yeah.
Chris Gasper.
Wiggy's not. I'm not a fan of Wiggy personally.
He's a different pace.
He's a fan, and I appreciate that about him.
I love the former athletes, though. I
love his 10 questions with Wiggy, though.
Oh, yes. I want to start doing something like that on, like, maybe not 10 or 5 or something, but some rapid-fire questions.
Yeah.
Those are the best when they're good questions. You don't have much time to think. We've actually been, if I'm keeping track, we're at 50 minutes right now. It's still recording, which is good. I didn't check. We'll keep going. I'd like to get to at least 60 minutes.
I could do 90 if you want.
Yeah, I know. A couple things I thought were interesting that I've noticed the last few weeks. I can't pronounce his name correctly. Adam Rosales, Rosales.
Yep.
Got designated for assignment by Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Texas picked him up off waivers.
Mm-hmm.
Texas designated him for assignment. He spent 3 games with Texas, didn't get one at bat.
Yep.
Texas dropped him.
Yep.
Oakland picked him back up.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland dropped him again.
Yep.
Swear to goodness, Texas picked him back up. It all happened within 2 weeks.
What does he do?
Is he like? Does he just like stay in the middle and guys figure it out? Like he's batting like $150 something. He's not like he's a utility guy.
Yeah.
He runs really fast around the bases.
Yeah.
But it's not like Joe DiMaggio here. But I just thought that was interesting as all heck. Manny Ramirez. I thought for sure.
He got released today, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought for sure he was going to get a chance, especially with Nelson Cruz. They made the trade for Rios, which I like for Texas. But 41, I think he was hitting 259, 260. Is it? It's got to be over for him, right?
Yeah, I think
41.
So. Yeah, I think so. I'd like to think he's a little better with his money that he doesn't. It drives me nuts when guys continue to play.
He doesn't.
We just saw it in Jaromir Jagr. He had a serious gambling issue.
He's still playing.
Yeah, he's 43 and he's still playing. Because he needs to. He needs the money. I
don't think Manny knows how much money he has, so I think.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Look, Manny's continues to be a very tough topic for me, because no one liked Manny more than I did, and the way he left. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Being a baseball guy, when I think of baseball, I think of Matt Kruger. Performance-enhancing drugs, HGH, steroids, whatever. How much, for me, it's always, for guys who take them, it's a confidence thing. Because I think confidence plays a big factor when you're throwing a pitch or when you're trying to hit a pitch.
Absolutely.
But being stronger, like Barry Bonds, you still have to hit the baseball, correct?
I think it helps you a lot in your recovery, day to day.
Yes.
Long-term injury. Pettit said he used it when he elbow, I think it was, or whatever.
Yep.
So
is that the edge right there? Because you need it. Does it improve? It makes you bigger, stronger, I guess a little faster. So your hand speed, bat speed will be.
No matter however you put it, guys like that have unbelievable. Hand-eye coordination, quickness. They can identify pitches like no other.
Yeah.
For me, Manny's tough because the way I look at it, and again, this is just me, and I know athletes don't look at it this way. Let's just say, as an example, he just played his contract out. They didn't pick up the option years, and he went and signed with the Dodgers. He goes down. He goes down as one of the best athletes ever to play in Boston. He'll never have to buy. People loved Manny. Yeah. People absolutely loved Manny. And you know what? I'd be willing to bet even if he had got caught with steroids and didn't, his time here didn't end the way it did, and it was, more, agreeable that he was going to leave, he still would be loved. Yeah. I think he's done. Would it surprise me if he tries again? No.
If you're a team, why wouldn't you sign him to a minor league deal just to have him play in a minor league ballpark? I mean, he'll take at bats away from somebody.
Yeah.
But you also have to sell tickets. So why not?
If you're the Houston Astros, why not? You just designated Carlos Pena for assignment.
Yeah.
You telling me at the end of September 1 you can't have him come up, maybe have a couple more people in the stands just to see Manny hit?
Can I throw some rapid-fire questions at you?
Go for it. Love it.
If you want to elaborate, you can. But if you want to keep biggest surprise in baseball this season, you can name a team or a player, and it could be a good or a bad surprise.
Biggest surprise.
I guess let's say good. Surprises, I guess, mostly are good. So, what's been the best surprise? A team that maybe is doing something.
I'm gonna go ahead and say biggest surprise. Good.
Braves, Pirates.
I was just gonna say it's cheating, but I have 4.
Okay.
I would go 3. Braves don't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah, Braves I thought were going to be very good.
Okay.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Red Sox.
Okay.
I didn't think they were going to be this good.
See, I thought they were going to be good.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw the Indians out there.
I wanted to think Francona could get them going.
I don't think many people thought. I think a lot of people thought they were going to do what they did the last couple of years and look good through May and then fall apart.
Scott Kazmir is like pitching like I know he's got shut down a little bit for a little bit with shoulder fatigue, or dead arm. But I mean, that guy, I picked him up on my fantasy.
And if you want to go bad, I mean, the 2 ones that stick out to me are the Nationals and the Giants. I mean, the Giants I kind
of expect because you play that deep into the postseason and you win the 2 World Series within 3 years.
Yeah.
Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, Bumgarner, although he's pitching okay, Vogelsson went down. I mean, you get tired and it's so hard to...
Especially doing it, 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And did they make the playoffs in 2011?
I don't remember.
So they were at least very good. So they were playing deep into the season.
The Pirates, from May 27th to July 29th, they went without a sac fly to the outfield. I wrote that down as a note. I thought that was interesting as all hell.
They went without... So they hit a sac fly to the infield?
They just... they went without a sacrifice fly, so bunting. Maybe a sac bunt. Those don't count. So they did not get a guy over to the next base, second to third, or third to home for 2 months. Is that weird? That's
very weird considering that they have the best record in the National League.
Yeah.
They're one of the best. I think they're behind the Braves.
Baseball tonight or MLB tonight? What do you prefer most? ESPN or MLB Net?
I'm going to say...
Let's say it's the best of your favorite guys on ESPN versus your favorite guys on MLB Network. Which one are you watching?
MLB.
MLB Network?
I think they're a little more in depth with their highlights.
ESPN's getting better.
ESPN is. Look, ESPN has really good... I think MLB has some good and some bad. I'm not a huge Mitch Williams fan.
Yeah.
I've always liked Harold Reynolds. He had that issue. He sexually harassed a woman, whatever. But he was always very good, and I think they do a very good job. I'll take MLB personally.
How many push-ups can you do? If I ask you to get down and do push-ups right now, without stopping.
12.
Really?
I said 10. I would think 10 to 15, but I don't think I can get up to 15.
You have long arms.
Yeah.
You ready to set?
Wait, does my chest have to hit the ground?
You gotta come close. No, I don't think it.
If it has to hit the ground, I'll go 9.
Would you rather be able to dunk a basketball, kick a 50-yard field goal, or throw 95 miles per hour? Maybe you can do one of those 3. I don't know if you can. Can you dunk?
I cannot dunk. I can't throw 95. I can't kick a... I'm going to say...
And I'm pretend you're a professional athlete, and you are Adam Vinatieri, or you are LeBron James, or you are Justin Verlander. So you get paid, what would you rather be able to do?
I'd say throw 95, because NBA caps their contracts.
Okay.
MLB doesn't.
And kickers don't get paid that
well.
Kickers
don't get anything.
But
kickers play forever. And all they have to do is kick. What's their practice? Belichick goes, okay, defense over here, offense over here, Gostkowski, go kick. And he says, okay, coach. Kicks 10 field goals and goes home.
Personally, my first thing I wrote on here was if I could dunk, that's all I would do. I would love to dunk a basketball. If I could dunk a basketball, I'd have a half basketball court in my backyard. I'd get home from work.
Yep.
I'd do some stretching. I'd lace them up, and I would just dunk. And I'd have you come over. I'd have you throw me alley oops. Like I would just dunk. That's all I would do until my hands bled. It's just personal preference, but
yeah, it's 95. Throw 95.
Okay. Jenny Dell, Heidi Watney, Hazel May, Tina Cervasio, Catherine Tappan, best-looking Nesson anchor over the last 10 years. There's been a lot of pretty women.
Doesn't matter on looks. I'm going with Tina Cervasio because we won world championships when she was here.
Who?
Tina.
In 2004 and 2007?
I think so, yeah.
No. Hazel had to be here in one of those years.
No, Hazel was in 2004.
Hazel.
Looks for Hazel never did it for me. Yeah.
I tell you what, Heidi Watney, she's a pretty girl.
Very pretty.
She's beautiful.
And I'll tell you what, I was in my kitchen one day, this was early in the year, and I don't remember what I'm doing, and I have MLB Network on, and I hear her voice, I'm like, what? Wait, is that who I think it is?
Heidi? The thing that got to me, and I kind of hit home, not hit home, but when the Boston Marathon bombings,
yeah.
and she broke down.
Yeah.
And she was crying, pretty much, fighting back tears, because she had those ties to Boston. And
Tina's doing the Knicks games.
Yes.
Knicks and whatever their MLS team is, the Red Bulls.
I see her on the crossover with Michelle Beto every now and then. Question for you: when a opposing team, visiting team, hits a home run,
yeah,
and a fan throws that ball back onto the field,
yeah,
do they get ejected from the game?
I don't think so. No.
No. Because
if you use the dumbest thing in the world, though,
I would hold on to the ball.
Absolutely.
But I always wondered that because, like, if I would keep it, but a part of me wants to throw it as far as I can.
Yep.
To like home plate,
yeah,
you know,
like Rookie of the Year style.
Yeah, but like I always wondered if fans got tossed because I know if you like fall over, touch the ball, you throw something onto the field.
I can't confirm. I don't think they do.
I always wondered that. I always wondered that. I don't know why I wrote that down.
Going back to games recently at the Phillies game, I texted you about it.
Yeah.
Chase Utley running over Deano Navarro.
I never saw that.
One of the cooler things I saw live. Now that we know that everyone, Navarro didn't seriously hurt himself, it was pretty cool.
Baseball isn't physical.
I know. I mean,
quick, Andrew Wiggins. I know nothing about him except that he's really good basketball player.
Yep.
He's Canadian and he's going to play a year in Kansas.
Yep.
To get ready for the pros. How much money? What are the odds that the Toronto Raptors somehow get the #1 pick and that they land the best player in the world, young player, and he happens to be Canadian? And
he's already said he wants to play for the Raptors. I was reading something on SI.
It's going to happen.
If it does, it will 100% confirm all the fixing that when New Orleans got the pick and Cleveland got another first, or they got the first one after LeBron left, and
it's so fixed. It's such a joke. It really is. It's so dirty.
David Stern, the arrogance drives me nuts, and it's starting to drive me nuts with Goodell. Look, Bud Selig hasn't been the perfect, commissioner, but he doesn't he strikes me as someone that, admits a mistake,
Yeah.
Stern is just so,
he's such a big ego.
Yes,
it's
a huge ego.
He makes up things as it goes. It's like, man, but he doesn't care. I wish they were replacing him with somebody who hasn't been part of the Stern establishment. I think it's Adam Silver.
It's his assistant,
it's the next guy in line, and I hate that. I wish it was somebody fresh, but a lot of people I talk to, man, they don't like the NBA. I enjoy a good basketball game. I'm excited for the Celtics season.
What's the one thing that always got me with the NBA, and it's something that a lot of sports don't. It's you watch it and just the pure athleticism.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that's always brought me back to the NBA. Look, I thought the playoffs were pretty good this year, and everyone wants to.
Spurs should have won it.
Yeah, everyone wants to say the Heat are gonna, win the next X amount of titles. They're including you.
I think.
Yeah.
I think LeBron's gonna get to double digits.
I mean, you look in their last 2 years, There's 3 times where they were 1 win away from not winning a title.
I feel like they. I swear to you, man. I really. It's a matter of.
But at the same time, a lot of people say, well, everyone wanted it to be that way, and they're going to win it anyways. You know.
If LeBron wanted to take over a game, when he wants to take over, he can. It's a matter of him fighting internally how to keep his teammates involved and entertained and part of the game. Because when the game's on the line, get out of his way.
Yeah.
He's taking over, and I'm sorry, as long as he stays healthy, I think he's gonna surpass 6 titles, man.
All right, well, then let me ask you this. Does he do it in Miami or in Los Angeles?
Good question. I think he stays put in Miami. I don't think he goes to the Lakers, and I do think he will end his career.
Does Kobe want him?
Well, no. I mean, I don't. I just don't think it's a good fit. I could see Carmelo going to L.A.
Does Kobe want Carmelo?
No, I think if Kobe, I don't know what the hell Kobe wants. He likes Paul Gasol and Lamar Odom, and they're bringing back their champion. You know, there was a Jordan Farmer and like. Who
wanted to keep Meta World peace?
Yeah. Hey, we've gotten a little bit over an hour. Want to wrap this up because I want to get this out to people, and the file size is going to be astronomical. I'll give you a chance. Last word. Anything you'd like to get out? I'd love to do this again as many times as possible.
Absolutely. I had a lot on my mind, and there was times where I thought there was going to be some white noise, if you will. But once you get going, man. But we could do this for another 2 hours, and we'd have no issue.
Yeah,
finding something to talk about.
It's awesome because you write down a topic, you try to stay online, but then you say something, and I think of something.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, absolutely.
NFL this year. How do you feel? Just in general, predictions, thoughts. Not excited? Excited?
Personally, Kruger, I'm not a big NFL guy. I'm not a big football guy, but I guess if I had to pick a Super Bowl champion right this second, Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos, okay.
What are you thinking?
It's tough to go anywhere but Denver.
Wes Welker, Thomas, Decker, Peyton Manning. I don't know, man. I feel like it's the second year in the system, and I just feel like they're going to click all cylinders.
Manning's 39, though.
He's 39?
He's 3 years older than Brady.
He's 39?
Yeah.
Holy cannoli. Wow. I'd say Seattle I don't think is going to surprise anyone.
I was just going to say, something about Seattle, they're not creeping up on anyone anymore.
No. The 12th man's great to have, but we'll talk about it more next time. I guess for the first Kruger and Egg podcast, it's a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good talking to you, Egg.
Right, see ya.
See ya.